Okay, one last thing we're going to do with our backer before we go ahead and form everything up is we like to put on this aluminum channel. You could use steel studs, you could use a number of different materials to do this. What this does is it serves two purposes. When we're pouring our higher edges, it serves as a form for us to be able to put that material in, and it makes it a lot easier to actually place that material. The second thing is for the cure. It's going to keep everything nice and flat and rigid when we screw this nice rigid channel onto the backside of our wood. We're going to make sure that we have 1 1/4" screws, so we do not screw through anything. This channel is a 2-inch wide channel. It's going to come up 1 1/4". I actually prefer to use a 2-inch by 2-inch channel. It's going to give me a little bit more height. When I flip this over, then it gives a nice rigidity. I can throw it on the sawhorses and it's going to stay flat. Remember, when we flip our concrete over, it's not fully cured. It still has a lot of curing to do. And so, even though we can grind on it, we can put a finish on it and everything else, you know, when we flip that over, we're only going to be about 10% of our cure. And so, that concrete is still moldable. And so, if it's, you know, setting up, if it's setting down, it'll secure that way. And so, this allows us to be able to move the pieces around. We can throw the piece on the floor. It's going to keep it nice and flat and rigid as we go ahead and finish our cure. This piece right here I've left off, and that's because it's going to cross over some of this area right here. I've marked out where my walls are, remember, and I know where there's a finished edge. Wherever there's a finished edge, you can notice right here that my aluminum's almost completely flush with my wood here, okay? And that's going to help me to be able to pour into that area right there. We can also take some tape and kind of fill in these voids here so that our material doesn't fill in more than we want to. An important thing to remember, though, is to put release on this aluminum, and we'll do that right before we put our backer, our bonder on there. And so we're going to put our release on this so that later, any concrete that comes in contact with it, when we take out the screws, will come right off. Anywhere where we're not going to be dealing with a finished edge and we have a wall, then we've actually, and I can kind of spin this probably, maybe. And maybe you can get a better look along some of these edges. And so on these other edges where we have a wall, we're actually going to set that back, and so that channel's back a little bit off of that edge, and that allows us to work that area in there, yet it still has nice strength out by that edge, okay? So if you've got a wall, you're going to choke it back about 1/2 inch off of your plywood edge. If it's a finished edge, you're going to put it right up against the edge. This piece right here, you know, I have a finished edge here, so I need to place this material in before I can kind of screw this piece back in here. And I've got a wall here and here, so I'm just going to have it ready to go. So, and you can kind of splice these pieces up. Remember that we're trying to add rigidity, and so putting splices in some of this material is not a big deal. They don't have to line up exact, okay?